It is the top of the hour, and just take a look. We do believe in respecting your time and starting right on time. So thank you to each of you that have joined us this evening. I would like for you to ask you if you would be so kind as to mute your computers just in case you have some noise in the background. We don't want to have any disruptions here, but we love seeing your beautiful smiling faces, so feel free to keep your camera on. And my name is Julie Blossom Hunt, for those of you that don't know me, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the Just Take a Look call this evening. It's also my privilege and my pleasure to welcome back Asma with us tonight. Now, we're very fortunate to have had her for a second time now sharing with us. For those of you that may be guests and may not know who Asma is, she's the CEO of Liquid Collagen Acquisition Corporation, which is a subsidiary as of last July of Shaklee Corporation. And she joined us following that acquisition. Prior to that, she led Modere as their CEO. After that, company acquired her collagen and hyaluronic acid-based nutraceutical business in 2017. Now, she's widely respected as a thought leader in the collagen and natural product space, and she has served as the chairperson of the Collagen Stewardship Alliance, and she's been named a Nutri Champion for her contributions to the industry. Her leadership has also been nationally recognized, including the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year. Now, many of you have already seen the excitement around the launch of the new liquid BioCell Life Plus, and that's no accident. It's a powerful product. Asma's been instrumental in leading the development of this product, and the response has been incredible, as most of us know. Now, tonight we have the opportunity to hear directly from her and to go deeper into the science behind it. So I want to thank each of you for joining us this evening. As you have questions throughout the meeting, please put them in the chat, and I will direct them to Asma during our question and answer time at the end this evening. So Asma, we're so grateful to have you back this evening, and we're excited to learn from you again. And I'm going to turn it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Julie. It's such a pleasure to be here with all of you again. The first meeting that I was with all of you on left a lasting impression for me. So I'm so absolutely grateful to be here with everyone again. And I actually thought that we would, I'm actually traveling right now, so it's obvious that I'm in a hotel room probably to all of you for the Women's Presidents Organization annual conference. And so it's something that I take a lot of pride in, to be able to be a female leader and support other women in business as well. And so, but I'm taking a break here right now to be able to be here with all of you, because I'm so thankful to all of you for supporting this launch in such a grateful way and in a superb, like supreme way. Last month, this was the top selling product at Shaklee. So, I mean, think about the excitement, and this is amazing. You know, these products also became the top selling products at Modere and represented about 60 to 70% of the overall global sales in just this one product. And it's because it works so effectively and so well. So I thought I'd give you a little background on the product science, but I'm actually really happy to answer any particular questions that you might have too. So I think I came in on one of them about a travel-friendly version and things like that. So I love questions, because I think that's the best way to learn, and for me to focus on the real matters that are affecting you and what you want to know about this. So let me do a little brief overview, and then I can actually go into answering any specifics. So one is, I think you probably have, and many of you probably have seen this presentation in the past before, but basically our big message here is that aging starts beneath the surface. So when you're approaching aging, and that's what this is such a perfect fit with the Shaklee premise, our platform is to live age free. So that's what we want to help people do. And one of the reasons why I think, Roger, especially, I've known him for a very long time. We've been on the boards and things like that together. But was very attractive about this product, especially wanting to acquire it, was because it fits within this platform so perfectly. In order for you to help with your aging process, there's something that's going on at the structural cellular level and it has a lot to do with this molecule called collagen. And many of you might be really familiar with it, but I think it's actually still underestimated as how important it is to your aging process. So as you're aging, there's things that accelerate your the kinds of symptoms or the things that you see. So that as you age, you start to see like it's a little harder to move around, right? It's a little harder to be as flexible as you used to be. You can't do cartwheels anymore. You can't, you're not out there doing all these crazy things anymore, because what's happening is like there's two molecules that are degrading in your body as time goes on. It's collagen, which is responsible for the strength in your connective tissue. And then there's another ingredient or molecule called hyaluronic acid, and that's responsible for all the moisture binding properties of your cells. So when you think about flexibility, when you're thinking about tendons and ligaments being flexible, when you're thinking about your skin being bubbly and soft and full of moisture, it's because of HA. And when you have HA that's declining, you're not going to have as much firmness in your skin. You're not going to have, when you look at little toddlers, and you know how they just have these cheeks that are so like lovable and squeezable. Yeah, that's HA. They have tons of HA. And as we're aging, it's declining as we're aging. And then what happens is, and it declines by, 1% a year by your mid 20s. And then it's accelerated by other factors too. Your environment, what you eat, all these other factors are accelerating that aging process, which means that it actually helps to further decline that collagen in your body, the further decline of the HA in your body. So what we're trying to do with this product, you'll see on the next slide, is what we're trying to do is replenish all the stages of the like decline, basically, right? So, and as you're aging, you're going to see these things come up faster. Women especially, we lose a lot of collagen when we're going through menopause. So this is why all of a sudden when you're going through these life stages, transitions, you start to see more wrinkles. You start to see aches and pains coming, stiffness in your joints. You start to feel all these things because it's happening so quickly. On the next slide, you'll see what the powerful component is to taking control of your body when it comes to replenishing this collagen and hyaluronic acid and chondroitin sulfate. So if you were to take a little snippet of your elbow joint, right, and look at the cartilage in between the bones in your elbow or in your knees or in your hip or anywhere that there's a joint, you would see is that the cartilage in between our joints are actually made up of three different components: collagen, chondroitin sulfate, and hyaluronic acid. And so what our ingredient, we discovered an ingredient, this is like the work that I've been doing for the past 25 years or so, basically that provides you all of these critical molecules that help to build up that collagen. And it's not just in not just in cartilage, but also in your connective tissues too. So we had to do a few things to make it effective. We had to actually, it all comes from a single source. The competitor products that you would see on the market are all trying to add in all these different components in order to mimic what we have. And we believe that the reason why our product works so well is because your body recognizes it. It looks at it and it says, oh, this is exactly in the same composition as my own cartilages. I know how to use this. I know where it needs to go. And it starts to build it, starts to restore all of those building blocks in your connective tissues that are being broken down. So what does this mean? It means everything. And I saw a question pop up here as well, is that, this product, this active ingredient in the product has been studied in a number of human clinical trials that have shown its efficacy on both skin health as well as joint health. We looked at every measure of the WOMAC scale, which is how you measure for joint discomfort and quality, activity, and all of that. and saw that it significantly improved, statistically significant improvement in all measures of the WOMAC scale. And that is basically what someone uses, a doctor uses, when identifying whether this person has any sort of joint health issues. I will also say what happens is that as you replenish these components in your body, you're also going to find that it's going to bring back that moisture in your skin. It's going to make your hair follicles stronger, because follicles are made out of collagen. So therefore, it produces healthier hair as well. And basically what we suggest for some of the questions that are coming up here too, I think I can probably answer all these at the end. I'll just go through a couple of these slides here before going into that. But the other biggest issue that we had when discovering and presenting this is that these molecules are massive molecules, the biggest in our bodies, right? They weigh in the millions of daltons. Daltons is how we measure the weight of a molecule, like pounds or kilos on a weight scale. And so they weigh in the millions of daltons. And all that means is that when you take it's like eating a watermelon seed. Your body can't digest it. It'll just pass right through your body, right? If you've ever eaten a watermelon seed, you know what I mean. And so it just cannot break down. The acids in your stomach aren't strong enough to be able to do it. And so it passes right through your system. So all along, the medical community was like, just did not believe that your body could actually ingest collagen and actually be able to use it in your body to produce more collagen. But we figured out a way to do it. So what we did was we looked at the molecule weight and we chopped it down to a size where it made it into a peptide, a collagen peptide, an HA peptide that actually could be absorbed once in your body. So your body actually uses it. How do we know this? Because in studies that we've done, we've seen that as you ingest this product, the enzymes that are breaking down hyaluronic acid are decreasing, which means that we can actually suppress hyaluronidase, which is breaking down hyaluronic acid in your body. We can actually suppress collagen, which is breaking down the collagen in your body. Not only that, but it's also helping to produce all this, because we see that levels of HA over a 28-day period went up by 6,000% in the body. So it's reaching the bloodstream and it's reaching the tissues that it needs to go to so that you can live age-free, right? You can actually be living your best life. You can move around effectively. And I honestly believe that like just the next level of what we're doing here with Liquid BioCell, coupling with some other ingredients, which also help to restore, protect, and preserve that collagen that's in your body too, because it comes within a framework. So a lot of products just out there think that you just take collagen and produce collagen and that's the end of the story. But the real, true, full picture of all of this is that you need to have a foundation of strong collagen. And that comes with the supporting molecules, including HA and chondroitin sulfate. We know that because of the active ingredient BioCell is going to provide that, and it's going to actually help to proliferate these cells in your own body to help you build that foundation even further. So it's a full spectrum, like 360-degree collagen support. You know, this is how you support your collagen best, and this is the best collagen product on the market. And I'm happy to answer some other questions here for you guys as well. But I wanted to explain a little bit about this. I know many of you might have seen the Life Plus. We're doing a lot of promotions around it right now. Again, it's become a top-selling product last month, which is really exciting. And I will tell you that like the more and more we just double down on this collagen HA matrix, the more and more it helps people to live better lives in every way, whether you're in this, as a business, whether your pure interest is to help other people live healthily, it is going to be a game changer. So let me pause there. And what I'll do is I'll answer some questions here too, Julie. So I can go through some of these questions on the chat if you would like, or if you would like to handle it
Sure, I've got them written down ready to go for you. So Lori Rogers would like to know, is there a benefit to taking collagen 9 along with BioCell Life Plus?
Absolutely. Collagen-9 is a great product. It has, all the like essential amino acids that you need for your body. It's a source of protein. So you're going to get 10 grams of protein when you're taking collagen-9. So as a supplement to your protein regimen, I would highly recommend that you take collagen-9. The thing is that it's made out of hydrolyzed bovine collagen. It works in a totally different mechanism of action than what liquid biocell does. And that's why I even like came up with this collagen HA matrix trademark many, many years ago, because I was worried that people didn't understand the true full picture, the holistic picture of what it really requires to be able to have healthier levels of collagen as you're aging. So I would absolutely recommend it. And I think it's a good idea. It just works in a very, very different way and for a different purpose. So ours, Liquid BioCell, actually works with a microdose. It's a completely different material, comes from a completely different source, and it's designed to help you protect, preserve, and restore, rebuild, and build collagen in your body in a very different way than collagen-9 would. So absolutely, it's a great source of protein. I know, all of you know that at Shaklee, our big premise is protein and how important that is. We were the very first company who came out with the first, plant-based protein powder. Many of you have been around with this company, which I have so much respect for, because you caught on to the health craze way before it was trendy to do so. Dr. Shaklee invented the multivitamin. I'm so proud of this business and what you've all done. And by the way, I'm here at this conference here, and some people here I haven't seen since my transition over here too. So they're like, Shaklee, and whenever they see that on my badge, oh my gosh, my dad uses the product. My mom used to sell that product. My mother-in-law, and I hear all these stories, and it's like, it's so amazing, because it's all of your hard work that made the brand what it is. And what we're just trying to do is we're trying to get to the next evolution of what Shaklee is, because we want this to be around for multiple generations for you and your families. So we're always thinking ahead, right?
Wonderful. If you could also address two different health concerns and how BioCell could benefit eye health and then also ulcerative colitis.
Okay, so one is I can't answer any questions about diseases, because our product does not treat, prevent, or cure any diseases. It's a dietary supplement. However, I will say that, basically when it comes to eye health, what happens, 85% of people over the age of 55 have vision issues, okay? And the reason why is because when you're aging, what happens, your collagen is actually, your eyes are actually comprised of 80% collagen and hyaluronic acid. And by the way, when you look on the side of your eyes, the glossy gel clear-like substance on your eye is actually hyaluronic acid. And so what happens is that when collagen, so your eye is in a, and this is for any photographers out there, it's a great analogy to use. But what happens with the lens, right? You have a circle, you have a perfect circle, right? And that's how our vision works. When you lose collagen, it starts to change the shape of that eyeball, actually, your own eye. And when you change the shape of it, that's when you start to have vision issues, whether it's nearsightedness, farsightedness, or anything like that. But most often, that's going to be why people need readers and all of those kinds of things. And so absolutely, eye health is completely correlated with healthy levels of collagen. Number two, on the other question here, I can't answer anything about it treating colitis or anything like that. But what I will say that the only condition that this product probably wouldn't help is, one, a very young person, because they have plenty of collagen. They don't need this product, right? Or someone who's overproducing collagen. So there is a condition where you're overproducing collagen. This will actually just help you to produce more collagen. So if your problem is that you have too much collagen, which only affects a very small percentage, a tiny, tiny, minuscule percentage of our population, then they probably wouldn't need this product. In fact, it could probably do harm for their condition. But everyone else, and not only that, but I think a lot of people, I saw a question about osteoarthritis, and I'm not trying to answer that this is a treatment for osteoarthritis, but however, I will say that osteoarthritis, all it means is bone on bone contact. And some people have rheumatoid arthritis, and some people have osteoarthritis affects 95% of the people who have arthritis. All of the arthritic, people out there are just undergoing wear and tear on their joints. So that cartilage degrades over time. Okay. In your fingers. And this is what the beauty about this product is. There's when people have arthritis, they usually go to a doctor and they'll get like an injection, an HA injection actually. Synvisc is the brand name that's most popular. And all that does is inject a gel substance in between the joints so that it lubricates. And so there's not that bone on bone contact. And so again, here it is. If you have healthy levels of HA, then you don't have that bone on bone contact, right? And so that's the only problem is that how many injections would you need to lubricate every joint in your body, right? This is such an easy, this is so much better scientifically and practically that when you take this product, it's affecting all of your joints because it's going through your bloodstream. Does that make sense? And even when it comes to like fillers that people get at a med spa or a dermatologist, it's pure hyaluronic acid. It's a synthetic hyaluronic acid. It used to be derived from rooster comb and highly processed. Rooster comb, the red flappy part on a rooster, is actually almost pure hyaluronic acid. And so the medical community saw this as a source, and they would take these rooster combs and convert it into HA, hyaluronic acid, and make it into this gel-like substance. It's basically think of it as like a silicone, like implant or something. They take HA, it's a gel, clear gel substance, and they inject it. So when they fill, all they're doing is they're taking the wrinkle, the fold, but they're plumping it out by putting a little implant with the gel. And so again, here's proof again that HA is so important for youthful skin, for plump skin, and wrinkle-free skin, because you need to address it in both ways. You need both that thick gel substance, but you also need collagen, because that's actually what holds the integrity of your tissue here.
Okay, now a question for one of the other favorite Modere products. Will it be possible to get the chocolate chews back?
Oh my gosh. Okay, you are preaching to the choir. I'm a one-person choir right now, but I will say that I think listen, it's really interesting for me to be in this position right now because I evolved my company from one product into the many that were needed. And then after the acquisition here, I think we're trying to figure out how many products do we really need? Because Shaklee has a lot of products, and I get that part too. When I first arrived at Modere, we had to go through that whole exercise too, because it's not always a great business decision to have too many products. However, I'm a product person, and I know the reasons why we came out with skin and beauty and immune and this and that and stuff like that. The one solution that we are going to for sure launch is a travel-friendly version. And that was when I stepped into the call, because we have to have a travel-friendly version. I'm here in Florida right now, and I had to bring a whole bottle here because I have it on tap in my house, basically, right? So imagine if consumers have to pay for it, it's an expensive feat to do, to travel with them and everything else. So I'm in a different position, but I have to bring it with me like that. And I also, by the way, I overstocked on the shoes and things like that when I knew we don't know exactly what was going to happen. However, you have to have a travel-friendly version because it has to be refrigerated after opening. And so, yes, we are coming out with that. We don't know exactly what that form will be, but it'll be something great. Okay. I will tell you, you'll be very, very pleased with it. We also used to have little pouches, the singles as well, the liquid pouches, which was also very useful. It's not the top seller because it's just more expensive to make. And so obviously people will buy the bottle because it's a lot more cost effective to do that. But people will spend on having a travel friendly version because it's a lot better to have those for your travels versus not having an option at all. So, yes.
Okay. Now we have a combination of question between Linda Crawford and from Lori Rogers. The question from Linda is, do we have to take can we benefit from just 1 tablespoon a day? Or if we were trying to limit it, can we do 1 teaspoon in the morning and one in the evening? And then secondly, do we need to continue with 2 tablespoons a day after loading, kind of getting our bodies used to it?
No, you can start off with the full dosage right away. You don't have to ease into it or anything like that. All of our clinicals were done on like 2 to 4 tablespoons a day. So, and the reason why we recommend it as a split dosage is because the half-life of collagen in your body is about 12 hours. So to maximize and to stabilize that collagen production in your body, the best thing is to do it twice a day. You can if you want to. I've heard lots of people anecdotally, again, just words to my ears, that people take it all at once a day, and it's worked wonders for them. But our studies have been done on the split dosage, so we always recommend that. And then I would say, I think did I miss another question there, Julie? Or
The second part was if we start off with the 2 tablespoons a day as recommended, do we need to always continue with 2 tablespoons or can we back off to 1?
Oh, okay. So here is, again, anecdotally, what I have heard is that when you start off with a full dosage, or even more sometimes people have like a much more severe, joint discomfort or something they're trying to resolve. They sometimes even take more in the beginning. And then what happens is your body actually builds up. So what's great about this is that you're actually going to the root cause. So it's not like, when you have a filler in your face, it dissipates over time, right? And then it's gone because you never had built up the substance naturally. You're building up that substance naturally in your body, whether it's cartilage, whether it's your skin. So there's a compound effect of taking it for longer and longer time. So I would say that I've heard lots of people saying that they could actually reduce their serving size later on, and it still worked beautifully for them. What I do hear is once they stop taking the product, you will start to feel, the kinds of things that you did before, whether it's discomfort in your joints or stiffness or anything like that, that you start to feel that again, but it doesn't come back like the next day. It's not like you're going to miss a dose and it's back. It's just that you're going to need to replenish those stores of those molecules in your body, so you'll want to continue on it.
Okay. We've had people ask, is it safe for those that are pregnant and those for breastfeeding?
So we cannot recommend anything with anyone who's nursing or pregnant without checking with your physician first.
Okay. And then also, can you explain the difference, please, between Life and Life Plus?
Yes. So Life was the very first product. This is the hero flagship product, and it stayed the #1 product throughout my career in the last, I have no idea what year it is, but 18 years of selling this. But, and Life was basically the active ingredient. So the most important thing is the active ingredient, which is the liquid BioCell itself, the BioCell collagen. We combined that with a number of other ingredients, resveratrol, some superfruit extracts that added an antioxidant power to it, because oxidation also destroys collagen in the body. So that was really important for us to be able to demonstrate with this product. And so you can have this product, so that was the hero flagship product. So what we were thinking about was like, how do we make something that is so great? Greater. What's the next evolution? So what we did was we combined, now what we did with the Life Plus is we added some other ingredients in it too, like zinc, for example, biotin, which is really good for keratin health. We added a form of boron, for example, from calcium perchlorate, which is also really important in bone density. It helps you with synthesizing vitamin D. And so the bone density part of the story is here with the Life Plus now. And then we added uh, fucoidan, which comes from a brown algae, which is a powerful antioxidant. So the story is still there, which was with life, which was powerful antioxidants. Let's address this at the root cause and move forward. So what we're doing with the Life Plus is just adding some other ingredients in it to give you like a full support of all the other things that also break down collagen in the body. So that's our kind of answer to, okay, what's the next big thing here?
Okay, great. Heidi would like to know, does swishing it in our mouth help to increase absorption?
Yeah, so this has become kind of a little bit of an urban legend from many
Mhm.
years ago, and I love it because I think it was one dinner that I was at with one of our leaders back in my days with my company before even the Modera acquisition, and what I was trying to demonstrate about bioavailability of liquids. I could, oh, by the way, this was over a dinner, and I think she was drinking cognac, and it brought up this story for me. There's cognac connoisseurs, right? And when you the people who drink cognac swirl it in their mouth, right? Because that's the best. That's and underneath your tongue is the most concentrated number of capillaries than anywhere else in your body. So when someone has a heart attack and they call an ambulance or an EMT, the way that they administer medication to save that person's life is sublingual. An injection doesn't even get as fast to your bloodstream as a sublingual medicine. Isn't that crazy? When I first learned about that, I just thought, whoa, that's really interesting. And so anyways, as I was explaining to this person who was drinking cognac, and she's hilarious, by the way, and it was even more hilarious because she was drinking cognac. And so and so but she swirled it, and I was like, yeah, like when you're swirling something in your mouth, because I didn't know anything about cognac really except for this story. And so what happens is that you're absorb the digestive tract starts in your mouth. And I think when you're taking food, this is why you need to chew your food really well, right? You open up like more circumference, like, area for the nutrients to be absorbed into your body. When you chew broccoli and it goes and it's actually being absorbed in your body, you're actually creating all of the like prebiotics that your body needs in your gut lining. You're doing all those things. So this is why the liquid part of the story was really important, is because you start to absorb things in your mouth. Do you need to do that? Absolutely not, because the clinicals were done on people just taking the couple tablespoons a day, and that's it. So it's not predicated on that, but people do it, and it's become like a thing. So I'm like, I don't know how to fight this story that I'm partially kind of responsible for, but it wasn't based on anything except for demonstrating that your digestive system begins in your mouth. So when you take liquid supplements and liquid medication, it's actually going to be a higher chance of being more effective.
Okay, great. Barb would like to know how long until we should expect to see results.
Well, so one of the studies that we've done is that you saw HA levels like pretty much spike really heavily in that first week of taking it. So it's getting into your system right away. And then it kind of tapers off it kind of stabilizes over 28 days. So what we do know is that it's getting to work fast. Some people see results sooner than later. We recommend taking the product for at least 3 months in order for you to get the full optimal benefits. It also depends on how much wear and tear you have on your body as well. What exactly, are your, concerns and how severe, like, for example, a 25-year-old marathon runner could have worse joints than, a 70-year-old average person, and that's because they're putting their joints under a lot more use than the other person who doesn't run all those marathons. So it just depends on your body, your level of discomfort. But you should start to see results. People see results as soon as in like a week or two. And then I think it's just important to give it a good scouts try, like a good 2-3 months on the product consistently.
Okay. Linda Crawford asked, she said instead of using collagen 9, she takes an extra scoop of Life Shake. So she's wondering if the combination of that with the BioCell would be the same as doing the collagen 9.
Yeah, except the Life Shake doesn't have any collagen in it. But so for collagen production, you can take the liquid BioCell Life Plus, and that's enough for you to take. And you can take the Life Shake because that's a source of protein as well. So if you were taking Life Collagen 9 for a protein source for the building blocks of your, tissue, your body, that the protein building blocks, then you can take Life Shake. That's totally fine too, because it is also a protein source, but just from a different source.
Okay. And Ozma, have you heard any testimonials of people that were close to needing knee replacement, but were able to hold off from having surgery after using BioCell? That comes from Darlene.
Yes. Okay. Well, I love the question. I can't answer it because it would actually like basically imply that our product would be a replacement for that kind of a surgery, and we can't do that because we are a dietary supplement. However, I will tell you that like one of my most I think one of my biggest epiphanies in this industry has been with the late Dr. Brady, who was here actually. I'm in Florida right now, happened to be, but who was based out of the Tampa area in Florida and Orlando, Florida. But he was a professor at the University of Florida. He actually invented the hip replacement surgery. And he came onto my science board because he had never seen a product like this. And he was so proud of it. And I just thought, he amazing, 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 such an accomplished man. His wife, who is still with us today in Orlando, is still on the product since back in 2009. They started taking the product. And it's amazing what kind of like testimonials he would give me. And then what was really my heart, like I just didn't know what to do. It was the first time I realized like how important this was to people, like how important the people were in this business. And I had no experience with direct selling before I started my company. Was that when he passed away, and that was I want to say it was in 2012. He was 95 years old, and he wanted me to speak at his funeral. So I flew to Orlando and spoke at his funeral, and I was the only one besides his wife and his, I think, brother there. And it was shocking to me because it's just that, what, little old me, like, why would you want me to be speaking here? And it was the most touching moment I think I've probably, I mean, I've had lots of touching moments. I have them every day, but it was very, very amazing to me. So anyways, I will say that we have lots and lots of physicians who believe that this product can be very helpful, whether it's to recover from surgeries, because, incisions in your skin heal based on healthy levels of collagen and hyaluronic acid. Those cells, those fibers actually align better when there's higher levels of HA and collagen in the body. So we've had plastic surgeons who believe that this is so important. And at first I thought maybe they would be intimidated by this product, like maybe it would compete with what they do, right? But actually it complements everything that they do. People who inject Botox every day, they love this product because it actually prolongs the results for their patients and makes them look better. So they have a retention with their patients.
Okay. Linda would like to know, is the hyaluronic acid a natural or synthetic form?
It's natural, completely natural, and it coexists with collagen. It comes from the same single source. So we actually get this from the sternal cartilage from chickens. Okay, and the reason why we do that is because and by the way, collagen can only come from animals. We don't have, collagen is not a vegan. It's a difference between animals and plants. If you want to know this even better, if you put vinyl seats in your car, right, or plastic seats in your car versus leather seats in your car, tell me what's going to last longer. The leather seats, right? That's why they're more expensive. That's why people get the leather seats. And that's because the leather contains collagen. That's the only difference. So the man-made, so basically, the sternal cartilage from chickens is the only place where it has a naturally occurring matrix collagen, hyaluronic acid, and chondroitin sulfate, which are all part of our connective tissues wherever it exists. It's the only place we found in human nature, in nature at all, that has the same composition as our own human articular cartilage. So that's why we get it from there. The great news is that it is only the first few centimeters of that cartilage, which means it has no contact with the bloodstream of the animal at all. So it's not affected by the nutrition or diet of the animal. It's also a byproduct as well. So these are, coming from chickens that are already being used. And so we're not killing any extra chickens, for this at all. It's a sustainable, amazing, it's antibiotic free, hormone free. And I've been to these farms that we've contracted with, producing this, and it's US and Europe only based as well. So there's no worry. We haven't had worries of like avian issues or avian flus or anything like that throughout, the history of this ingredient being used.
Okay, you ready for the next question?
Sure.
Elise would like to know about the synergy between BioCell and Vivix.
Yeah, I mean, it's such an importance. So Vivix is a completely different product. I mean, in fact, one of the reasons why I used resveratrol in my original product, the Life blend, was because of resveratrol. So you have that in Vivix. You have powerful antioxidants that are actually helping you at a cellular level. And so the products are completely complementary. You're absolutely going to get in fact, what I found is that people are using Vivix and Life Plus and Life, as sort of a lead duo when they're bringing on business or putting, new customers on products. So they work in synergy, total synergy between those two.
Okay. Suzanne would like to know, how could this be helpful for a teen athlete?
It can be. What you want to do with anyone who is like underage or sees a pediatrician, that they just want to make sure that they're good with the pediatrician. But basically, any athlete is overusing their joints. So it's really important to protect those tendons, ligaments, and everything else to be able to to perform better and to be able to protect themselves from injuries in the future.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and then someone said they'd heard one of their customers was thinking they had nausea, was wondering if that is a potential side effect, or could it be something else altogether?
I mean, I think it could be something else altogether. I don't know how to answer that, just because I don't hear people's in the, the active ingredient has never been reported to cause anyone nausea. We've done toxicology studies on the active ingredient, on the BioCell, that shows it's completely safe without any adverse effects for 90 days at 33 times its dosage for 90 days. So there's no this Life Plus, though, has other ingredients in it. So if someone is allergic to biotin or something, I would just have them use the liquid BioCell Pure or the regular Life instead. Or if, so there could be something like that, but it doesn't tend to cause nausea. And it's also such a small amount. You're only using 15 milliliters of this, twice a day. So it's not like a big, you're not turning down a shake or something like that. That's going to cause something, or I haven't heard that from my experience of it.
Okay, and then Linda would want to ask if you could tell us about the clinical studies behind the improving bone density.
Yeah, so we're actually going to be conducting that. So we're actively in the clinical pursuit right now. So we will be doing that. However, we are using the ingredient claim on the product right now, which is the bone density. It helps with bone density, supports bone density, and that's because of boron. So we're using a form of boron, which is directly correlated to having healthy bone density. And now we're doing our own finished product clinical. Because remember, combining ingredients doesn't mean that you're going to have the desired outcome of each ingredient, right? It's, for example, if you take bread, you're going to have a different glycemic index than taking the bread and dipping it in olive oil, right? You can actually lower the glycemic index of bread if you use some fat on it, right? It helps with that process. So combining ingredients is different. And so that's why finished product clinical trials are really important. So we're actually pursuing that with Life Plus, and we're going to get some really, I believe, some really strong clinical claims on it, in addition to everything that we're presenting to you today, too.
Okay. One more question, and we'll take one more after this, I think. Renee asked, is there a positive benefit for someone who may have a condition like MS?
Yeah, so I can't answer any questions about diseases, because our product is a dietary supplement. So I will say that, check with your doctor and see what the things are. What I do know is that no matter what someone's going through, it depends on why that problem maybe has achy joints. You have to get to the root cause of those issues. But what we do know is that healthy levels of collagen and hyaluronic acid is actually going to help you to lubricate your joints. It's going to help you with having, better skin. It's going to help you with having stronger tendons, ligaments, and connective tissue as well.
Okay, great. Last question for this evening comes from Diane. I think something we could all benefit from. Are there clinical studies that we could have access to for sharing with medical professionals?
Yeah, so if you go to like PubMed, for example, I'm sure many of you are familiar with PubMed.gov. It's where all the published clinical trials are basically housed. And if you just type BioCell in there, BIOCELL, you'll see some of those clinical trials come up that were published in clinical peer-reviewed journals.
Perfect. Well, I want to thank you, Asma, for being with us tonight. I think we all have just enjoyed this experience. We love learning from you. We're so thankful for your insight and the science that you shared with us tonight. So thank you again for sharing your time with us, especially twice. We feel so honored to have you here 2 times. It's been a blessing.
It is my absolute pleasure. I am so grateful for all of you, and I'm so glad to be here with all of you. And I've never been more impressed with health enthusiasts, like the Shaklee group. So I'm where I need to be. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much.